KWT slaying.
Shalom, family. How y'all doing today? Hope you're blessed and highly favored. So, when we talk about Babylon is a complex entity, right? Because, like with anything, it's a government, it's a religious system, it's a gathering place for people, right? Babylon has many faces. Now, I find it interesting that, see, here's the thing, and let me put it this way. You don't see Tail Ministries picking fights. We don't pick fights, but we finish them. Why do we finish them? We finish them because if you ignore things, they become sticky. And how many times have you heard the phrase, right? You repeat a lie often enough, what happens? What happens if you repeat a lie often enough? It becomes truth. People believe it. So, some people think I just like to fight. No, not really. I mean, I do fight, but I don't really like to fight. You see what I'm saying? I fight when I have to, but I don't really like fighting. Now, I was in martial arts, and I told y'all about that. How my brother and I took first place and stuff like that. But, well, first and second. But when it comes to fighting, I don't fight today, really. For me, now you put your hands on me, I might fight you. But I fight for you all. Why? Because I'm gonna be honest. I can't be anything but. Some of our people are not sophisticated enough. They're not sophisticated at all. And when I say they're not sophisticated, is that they fall for people who have a smile on their face, right? They smile in your face, right? All the time they want to take your place, the backstabbers, right? That's how it is. And some of y'all just not sophisticated enough to see the sleight of hand, the magician tricks, right? So here's the thing. So how? And look, and this really not for me to attack and fight and all that and continue the fighting, but you sort of can't avoid it, right? Because here's the thing. If you believe one thing about end time prophecy and I believe another thing about end time prophecy, I'm not calling you a cult. You see what I'm saying? If you believe one thing about end time prophecy and I believe something else, I'm not going to call you a cult. Why? Because we all learn it. And then the ones who try to be your friends, they smile in your face. All the time they want to take your place, the backstabbers. That's just how it is, right? That's the nature of the world, right? But people have agendas. See, that's what y'all don't get. And that's what I mean when I say people aren't sophisticated. See, here's the thing. What I expect you to do when I teach, I expect you to go through every scripture, every historical evidence, right? And validate it. When someone else teaches, you should go through everything they teach and say and validate it. Whether or not you're teaching about the Hebrew language, you need to validate it, whether or not what they're saying is correct and in context, because the easy way to deceive you is sleight of hand, right? The devil has a little truth mixed in with a lie. But understand this. A lot of people want the Vatican to be Babylon. Do I like the Vatican? No, not at all. Of course not. They're the ones that enslaved us. But a lot of people want the Vatican to be Babylon. You know why they want the Vatican to be Babylon? Why do you think they want the Vatican to be Babylon? Because the Vatican is a religious institution. It has its own government, but it has its own government under the idea of a religious institution, right? To manage their own religious, quote unquote, holy site and location. But the United States of America is a government. Now we're going to talk about this because sometimes the two intermingle and they blend, right? Historically speaking, see, a lot of our people aren't sophisticated enough and don't know what's going on. See, if I work for the government, then I want the Vatican to be Babylon. If I work for the government, I don't want to tell you that America is going to be destroyed because she's Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots. If I work for Groom Lake, I told y'all on the last show, I told y'all need to go look at Groom Lake and find out about S4, and certain people used to work there according to them. Work for the government. So if I work for the government and I still work for the government, then I don't want the government to be Mystery Babylon. If I'm still employed by the government, I don't want the government to be Mystery Babylon. They might remove my security status. I might lose my Freemason certificate. So when I say that, people have agendas, they do. And when people start pointing at other people and calling them cults because they teach a different end time message, not the fundamentals, but another end time message that may be different from yours. Why do you even care? You do you, I do me, right? You do you, I do me. See? But when you have to point at other people, it's like I said, if I call you a thief, then maybe you're the thief. You see? If I call you a liar, maybe you're a liar. If I call you a cult, then maybe you're a cult. Now, what is a cult? A cult, a system of religious veneration and devotion directed toward a particular figure or object. A relatively small group of people having religious beliefs or practices regarded by others as strange or sinister. So according to many people, family, you're a cult. You're a cult because you believe you're the Israelites of the Bible. To many people, they believe you're a cult because you want to obey the laws, statutes, and commandments. See, people throw out the word cult willy-nilly and not having an understanding of what it means. But why do people paint other people with these brushes? See, if I come against you, I'm not making ad hominem attacks. If I'm coming against you, I'm going to list all of your faults. I'm going to say, look, here's what he said. Here's what he did. He went to this meeting on this day. He signed this agreement on that day. He teaches this, you see. But when you make ad hominem attacks and call people cults, it's jealousy. They smile in your face all the time. They want to take your place. I'm just saying, some of y'all just not sophisticated. Y'all believe everything everybody teaches you. And we're going to continue with our definition of cult, and we're going to get to Babylon in a minute. But many people will consider you all a cult because you diverge in your belief system from the standard body of quote unquote believers. You don't follow Christianity, the religion of Christianity. It's a religion. And we're going to talk about that. But to throw out the term cult is usually the people who are in a cult. There's things that I know I don't talk about. I'm telling you now, there's things that I know I don't talk about that were told to me that I don't talk about because I ain't trying to cause no mess. But I'd have to say this, you need to be careful where you eat. I've told you that before. You need to be careful where you eat. Now let's continue here with looking at cults because it adds to what I'm talking about today. Can y'all see that? Okay. The term cult can be used in various ways and has different connotations depending on the context. It is important to note that not all religious groups labeled as cults are inherently harmful or dangerous. However, when discussing the attributes commonly associated with negative or manipulative religious cults, say manipulative, the following characteristics be observed. Now, I want you to do me a favor, okay? Now, some of y'all may say it is or not, but use these characteristics to identify a cult. Charismatic leader. Cults often revolve around a charismatic and authoritarian leader who holds a significant amount of control, influence over their followers. They are often seen as special, enlightened, or even divine. Okay, well, let's stop right there. I don't never claim to be a pastor, right? And when I teach, what do I tell y'all do? I tell you seek the Most High, right? I tell you validate it, right? I told you don't follow me, follow Yah, right? But I'm a cult. I'm not a pastor of a church. I don't have people sitting under me at a church where they got to come give me tithes and offerings. I'm not manipulating people and telling them you got to do this and you got to do that and you got to build your tabernacles and all this stuff. No, I don't do that. I don't say you have to do this and that and this and that. That's between you and the Most High. I just teach the word. Told you I'm a teacher. So number one don't fit me. Okay, number two. Absolute authority. The leader of a cult typically asserts absolute authority and demands unwavering obedience from followers. They may claim to have exclusive access to truth or divine knowledge, discouraging, discouraging independent thinking or questioning of their teachings. I don't take absolute authority on nobody. I don't demand authority. I told you, I ain't your boss. I ain't your pastor. I ain't a prophet. That don't fit me either. They may claim exclusive access to truth or divine knowledge. Here's the Hebrew language. I can only read Hebrew. You can't. Your understanding of the last days is incorrect because your understanding of Greek and Hebrew is flawed, because I'm the arbiter of truth. You misunderstand because your vowel points are off, so therefore your interpretation of that verse is incorrect. Discouraging independent thinking. So then you come say, well, you know, Pastor, I disagree with you on that. Your interpretation of Hebrew and all that, and you say it's Paleo Hebrew, is incorrect, and your translation and transliteration is incorrect because there were no vowel points with Paleo Hebrew. So I disagree with you, Pastor, that your pronunciation is accurate. Get out. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm the pastor. Discouraging independent thinking or questioning of their teachings. Look, people challenge me all the time. I tell them, look, believe what you want, teach what you want, do what you want. I'm not buying it. You see what I'm saying? That's the difference. I might not be buying what you say, but go do your thing. Now, if you're a straight up false prophet and teaching and saying that Yeshua not Yah in the human flesh, well, I might talk about you then. You might say something like Yeshua daddy is Joseph. Oh, I'm gonna talk about you then. But if it's not the fundamentals of the faith, then I'm gonna leave you alone. So number 2 don't fit me, but it fits other people. Manipulation and control. Cults commonly employ manipulative techniques to control their followers. This can include tactics such as mind control, psychological manipulation, isolation from outside influences, including friends and family, and the use of coercive or deceptive practices. Another example of that would be, don't go listen to Tail Ministries because they're a cult. Don't go listen to Tail Ministries because they don't know what they're talking about on the end times. You know what? I've never really went and looked at their videos and see how it lines up with the scriptures. And, you know, a lot of people say they've been sort of accurate, you know, since everything happened in 2019 and 2020. But I still think they're a cult. And I still think they're wrong about Babylon. That's manipulation. See, the one in authority is trying to manipulate your belief system, but you're not smart enough or influential enough to decide it. You know, let me rephrase that. You're not perceptive enough to go do your own analysis and research and compare what they say and what Teo says, or what they say and someone else says. Another way that they manipulate you is, yea, had God said, ye shall not eat of every fruit. They'll take scripture out of context and you'll bite on that fruit. Yes, many of you do, because you're not discerning. We're going to talk about that as well. Groupthink and conformity. Cults foster an environment that discourages individuality and critical thinking. They promote a sense of group identity and enforce strict adherence to their doctrines and beliefs. That dissenting opinions or questioning of the group's teachings are often discouraged or punished. You Israelites don't know what you're talking about. That's what they say. You're Judaizers. Oh, you don't understand the words that you're reading in that book. I'm reading right here that Jews were in West Africa. No, that's not what it says. I'm reading right here that Jews were black. No, that's not what it says. You all can't read. You're dumb bunnies. You need us to interpret it for you. That's a cult. All them people over on that Berean TV, that's a cult. Why? Because groupthink and conformity. Groupthink and conformity. What does Tail Ministries do? Here's what we believe: eat the meat, spit out the bones. Here's what we believe: go do your own research and seek the Most High Yah on whether these things be. What does Tail Ministry say? Is go be like the Bereans. Are we attacking anybody because they disagree with us? No. We'll say we disagree. Who's the cult here? Who's calling people cults without evidence? It's ad hominem attacks. Exploitation and isolation. Cults may exploit their followers financially, emotionally, or sexually. They may encourage isolation from society and sever ties with friends and family, making it more difficult for individuals to seek outside perspectives or support. Exploitation and isolation. You never heard Tail Ministry say, hey, look, y'all need to give us some money. If y'all don't give us some money, God ain't happy with y'all. If y'all don't give us some money, you're not going to be blessed. If you bless us, you will be blessed. You need to make sure that you sow your seed into this ministry. If you don't sow this seed into this ministry, God's not going to like you very well. You ain't never heard us give you a guilt trip to give no money. We say you want give, give. If you don't, don't. Who's the cult? Apocalyptic or doomsday belief. Now, this is where some people want to try to classify Tail Ministries. Some cults have apocalyptic or doomsday beliefs, predicting catastrophic events or the end of the world. This can create a sense of urgency and reinforce the need for followers to remain loyal and committed to the group. So, we do have apocalyptic beliefs. We believe we're in the last days. As a matter of fact, we believe we're living in the book of Revelation. But when people say, well, you know, Tail Ministry is teaching that flea doctrine, so therefore they're classified as a sense of urgency to reinforce the need for followers to remain loyal and committed to the group. What group? Loyal to what group? We teach. We don't have no gatherings. We don't have no parties. We don't have no feast day celebrations. We don't have no church. We don't have no synagogue. What group? Because we believe we living in the last days and we believe America's Babylon. A sense of urgency to do what? Psychological and emotional manipulation. Cults often use various psychological techniques to maintain control over their followers. This can include love bombing, excessive affection and attention, creating a dependency on the group, inducing guilt or fear, and employing coercive persuasion methods. One of the modern characteristics of this today would be on social media. Oh, you know, Tail teaches that America's Babylon. And because Tail teaches America's Babylon, they're a cult. I'm the only arbiter of truth here. You need to listen to me. I have the Greek and the Hebrew. You know I love y'all, yeah. But don't love Tail. You know I love y'all, yeah, but Tail don't love y'all. You know, y'all only need to listen to me. Now, what Tail will tell you, you need to be discerning, whether you listen to us or listen to someone else. You need to literally take what they say and do your own research. If I'm teaching Hebrew, you need to see whether or not what I'm saying about Hebrew is correct. If I'm teaching Greek, you need to go see if what I'm teaching about Greek is correct. If I'm teaching about DNA, you need to go research and see if what I'm teaching about DNA is correct. If I'm teaching the scriptures, you need to go and see if what I'm saying in the scriptures is correct. How many times Teo tells you to be like the Bereans? Once again, none of these characteristics of a cult fit Teo Ministries, but they fit other people. Look, Joseph Connor, you come out with this flea doctrine again, dude, I'm going to block you for good. I'm sick of you. I'm sick of you. If you don't agree with the flea doctrine, then don't agree with the flea doctrine. Period. You got your own mind. How many times I got to say that? Do you? Some of y'all get on my last nerve. If you believe something different, then believe something different. Am I excluding you from the church because you believe something different? But you are about to get blocked. Exclusive and secretive nature. Cults often operate in secrecy, keeping their practices, beliefs, and inner workings hidden from outsiders. They may use initiation rituals or levels of knowledge that are only revealed to long-term members, creating a sense of exclusivity and a barrier between insiders and outsiders. Let me read this one more time. Exclusive and secretive nature. Cults often operate in secrecy, keeping their what? Practices, beliefs, and inner workings hidden from outsiders. Now, I distinctly remember hearing someone say, well, you know, I've been teaching end time prophecy for years, but I never really shared it publicly because I only shared it with my local congregation. I only shared it with my local congregation. I didn't share it with the people on the internet. Though I have an internet ministry, I have a YouTube ministry. I was teaching on end time prophecy, and I was sharing it with my local congregation. But you know, some people building their ministries because they're teaching end times. If I taught end times, I'll build me a great ministry as well. Well, maybe they didn't teach end time prophecy because they didn't understand end time prophecy. Maybe they didn't teach it and make it public because they're a cult. Maybe they kept it in where they could control people's thoughts and processes and not be criticized. Maybe that's why. And maybe that's why they are upset now because Teo Ministries is being proven correct concerning end time prophecy. Because why? We made our teachings what? Public. We made what? Our teachings what? Public. Let me ask you a question, family. Has Teo Ministries ever charged you for what we teach? Yes or no? Yes or no? Has Teo Ministry ever charged you for what we teach? Yes or no? And did we make it public to everyone? Yes or no? So ain't nobody charged you for a dime of any teachings. Freely we have received and freely we give, right? Freely we have received and freely we give. But you know, I was having second thoughts because, like, you know, one of the teachings I was thinking, I said, well, you know what? There's gonna be controversial, and I'm tired of getting beat up. I'm tired of people attacking my teachings and calling me a cult member and calling me the leader of a cult and all this foolishness. Maybe I should make those type of teachings for patrons only. Maybe I should do that. What do you all think, family? Yes or no? Should I keep it public, or should I just make some of my teachings for patrons only? I'm thinking about it. Because see, if I come out and tell you that Babylon is the United States, all hell breaks loose, right? All hell breaks loose. If what I teach goes against the general consensus, then we are cult members, right? But everything we give is free in public, and we have references. You can go validate anything we teach and anything we say, unlike some people. Some people, all they got is ad hominem attacks. Some people, all they do is quote things out of context. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But this is the way Babylon moves. See, this is why I say some of y'all just not sophisticated enough. And some of y'all are very trusting. You're too trusting. If I call myself a pastor, then you trust me and you don't do a lick of research. If I tell you the word is shalom, you believe it's shalom. You ain't ever went and validated it. You never did research on your own. You never went and see what the original Hebrew words were. You never saw what the surrounding communities said. You just accepted it. I say Yawahashi. Y'all believe Yawahashi. You ain't never went and did no research. You ain't never went and validated it. And sometimes if you do it with the rose-colored glasses. What do I mean by the rose-colored glasses? By the rose-colored glasses, you see things the way they want you to see it. You see things the way they interpreted it for you. So when you go read that same thing, you interpret it the same way they gave it to you. You see what they want you to see. And Teo be like, wake up from the matrix, take the shades off, take the glasses off. They lying. But this is what cults do. Cults will manipulate you. They create groupthink. They manipulate you. They have a charismatic leader. They point fingers at other people and say, look what they're doing. They're teaching end time prophecy all wrong. And because they're teaching end time prophecy all wrong, they're a cult. But yet we teach end time prophecy, and guess what? A lot of what we said has come to pass. But who's the cult? And who was weak enough and scared enough and not bold enough to teach their end time teachings publicly ahead of time? Because guess what? If they taught what they believe ahead of time, they would have been proven liars and false. I told you, some people work for the government. Y'all not swift. Some of y'all not swift. Some people are COINTELPRO. Y'all not swift. Some of y'all not swift. ISUPK, IUIC, they just had a fight, a throwdown. And guess who they called? Called the police to arrest their brother. Come on now. But we need to understand cults, religion, and government, how they all come together, because they're pretty much the same. They all work hand in hand. And I'm going to tell you, like I said, the worst enemy is the one that looks like you. I told you, the worst enemy is the one that looks like you, working for massa, working for the government. The worst enemy is the one that look like you, because you let your guard down and they say they're Israelite. You let your guard down and they 501c3. You let your guard down, and they watch what they say, and they're not in season and out season with the word, and they only say things that don't offend. How many people you listen to, if they don't offend you sometime, then maybe they're not telling the truth. If they don't offend you sometimes, maybe they're not telling the truth, because guess what? The word might offend you sometimes. It might cause you to go into repentance when you thought you were okay. The word is supposed to correct you. But if you ain't never corrected, if you don't feel some kind of way sometime, if you're not getting opposition, then something's wrong. So one of the cults, let's talk about one of the cults. So before the establishment of the papacy, the organization of the Catholic Church was different from its current structure. In the early centuries of Christianity, the church was primarily governed by bishops and presbyters or priests. The local bishop held significant authority over the Christian community in this area, and each city typically had its own bishop. Most of us never really knew how this worked, right? Before Rome, before the papacy and all that, right? Before the popes. During this time, there was a recognition of the primacy of certain bishops based on the importance of their cities. The bishops of Rome, Alexandria, Antioch, Jerusalem, and Constantinople were regarded as patriarchs and held a certain honor and influence within the church. However, the authority of the Roman bishop, later known as the Pope, was not yet as centralized and supreme as it would later become. In the early centuries, the church faced various challenges and controversies, such as disputes over doctrine and the nature of Christ. Ecumenical councils attended by bishops from different regions were convened to address these issues and make collective decisions on matters of faith and practice. These councils played a significant role in shaping the early church and its doctrines. Over time, the position of the Bishop of Rome gradually gained more prominence and authority. The doctrine of papal primacy, asserting the special role of the Pope as the successor of St. Peter and the head of the universal church, developed and was formalized. By the late ancient and early medieval periods, the papacy had become the central institution within the Catholic Church, and the Pope emerged as the supreme authority over the entire church. It's important to note that the exact development of the papacy and the consolidation of its authority took place over centuries, and the process was complex and influenced by various political, cultural, and theological factors. Why am I reading this? It's because we see here the formation from the original belief system of the apostles and the individual bishops of a church to that of an organized entity and then a government that was both church and state later on. I contend that church and state never split, but we're going to talk about that. So remember, during these times, there was no such thing as Protestants, Presbyterians, Baptists, all these denominations. During this time, all the people, the Gentile nation, they were called Christians. And during that time, a Christian was a Catholic, according to Rome. During that time, a Christian was a Catholic. What does that have to do with cults, Jacoba? Because what? You got to have a charismatic leader. You got to go through certain rituals. Say your Hail Mary 3 times a day, otherwise you're going to hell. Understand that Catholicism influenced all of Christianity. But Catholicism also influenced the governments. Why? Because Rome became Catholic. And we're going to talk about that. So let's see it. Okay, can y'all see that? Did I choose the right one? Hold on. I think I chose the wrong one. Wait, okay. My bad. Okay, there we go. All right, so Constantine the Great, who reigned as Roman emperor from 306 to 337 AD, played a significant role in the early relationship between the Roman Empire and the Christian Church. His reign marked a turning point in the history of Christianity as he issued several edicts and took actions that had a profound impact on the church and its relationship with the state. One of the most well-known events associated with Constantine is the Edict of Milan in 313 AD. This edict granted religious toleration to Christians within the Roman Empire, ending the period of persecution they had previously faced. This act allowed the church to openly worship and engage in its activities without fear of persecution. Constantine also played a crucial role in the Council of Nicaea in 325 AD. This council was convened to address the Arian controversy, a theological dispute concerning the nature of Christ. Constantine, although not a theologian himself, presided. What? Constantine, what? Constantine, although not a theologian himself or a believer, presided over the council and played a prominent role in its proceedings. The council resulted in the formulation of the Nicene Creed, which affirmed the divinity of Christ. In terms of his relationship with the bishops of Rome, Constantine had interactions and dealings with them. But his involvement was not exclusive to Rome. He recognized the bishops as influential figures within the Christian community and sought their support and guidance. However, during Constantine's reign, the bishops of Rome did not hold the same level of authority and centrality as they would later as popes. Constantine also involved himself in certain theological matters and disputes within the church, including the dynastic controversy in North Africa. He intervened in these conflicts and attempted to reconcile the various factions. It is important to note that Constantine's actions regarding Christianity were part of his broader political and religious policies. While he supported and favored the Christian church, he did not convert to Christianity until later in his life. So when he had the meetings, he wasn't a believer, and he still wasn't, in my opinion, even when he died. What it says he converted later in life. His reign marked a significant shift in the status of Christianity within the Roman Empire and set the stage for the eventual establishment of the Papacy as a central authority in the church. So from the beginning of Christianity, right, which is formed from Catholicism, government was involved. Government was involved in the creation of the church. Constantine, who wasn't a believer, was part of the Nicene Council. And so today we see a mixture of paganism within Christianity, which is a descendant of Catholicism. And we see many Israelite communities and pastors and camps and having some of the same dogma and religious practices with an Israelite twist. With an Israelite twist. So in the scriptures, we have a religion and a governmental system. With Rome, we had a religion and a governmental system. The religion to oversee men's spiritual needs. The government to control and direct the individuals within the commerce and the trade amongst nations. So the devil wants to get control of your spirit and your mind through religion. But the devil also want to control you through government, the means of getting wealth and money and food and accessories. So therefore, you had a merging of church and state. When the popes took over, that was a merging of church and state. When the Pope signed the Dum Diversus and said we're going to be perpetual slaves, that was church and state. Understand this, that what we see here in the history of the Roman Catholic Church and Christianity is Babylon. So no wonder people get confused with whether or not Mystery Babylon is the government or the religion. Because there is the government and the religion. The foundation of Catholicism and Christianity was what? The government and the religion. But what we see here in the Bible, and it talks about Babylon, it is talking about the government. It is talking about the government side of this Babylonian system. See, there's a difference between the whore that rides the beast, that controls the world governmental nations on a political and economic level, and the system of religion that continue to thrive and work in tandem with the government. See, the religion keeps your mind focused on things. Did you pay your tithes? Did you say your 3 Hail Marys? Did you celebrate Christmas and Easter? The religion keeps you busy in doing things that's not really biblically based. But they will take things and do the sleight of hand. They will manipulate you. So the Bible teaches Easter, so you must celebrate Easter. No, it's Passover. And Passover is on a different day. You must celebrate Yeshua's birthday because you know Christ was born. So we should celebrate his birthday on Christmas. Yes, but Christmas was born from a pagan tradition, the Saturnalia. See, the religious side of the system is to keep you busy and deceived and confused. And this is what some of these pastors do. And this is why they call other people cults. Why? Because some of these pastors, some of these mores, some of these preachers work for the government. But even in the Bible, we see the mixture of church and state. See, if you notice, Yacoba always go through a detailed explanation. I don't just give short little quotes and accuse people. I don't just give ad hominem attacks with no proof. I will show you everything I say. I will prove everything I say. Unlike some people who just throw ad hominem attacks. Oh, they're a cult because they disagree with me. No, you're a deceiver and you're a fool. So we got the blending of church and state. The book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 11. Then I saw a second beast coming out of the earth. It had 2 horns like a lamb, but it spoke like a dragon. So we have a lamb, soft, cuddly, non-threatening, but speaking like a dragon. It exercised all the authority of the first beast. Can we say the government? It exercised the authority of the government. It exercised all authority of the first beast on its behalf and made the earth and its inhabitants what? Worship the first beast. What? So he exercised authority of the first beast. Where he get this authority from? Why does this first beast have authority to give to the second beast? Because he's the government. The government gave him authority. And he made the earth and its inhabitants to worship. So we know he's a worship leader. He's a priest. He's a pastor. He's a moray. Can we say church and state? To worship the first beast whose fatal wound had been healed. And it performed great signs and wonders. Oh, he's doing miracles now. Deceiving people. Even causing fire to come down from heaven to earth in full view of the people. Because of the signs it was given power to perform on behalf of the first beast, right? The government allowed him to do it. It deceived the inhabitants of the earth. It ordered them to set up an image in honor of the beast who was wounded by the sword and yet lived. The second beast was given power to give breath to the image of the beast so that the image could speak and cause all who refuse to worship the image to be killed. So he's telling people, look, you need to worship this image. I'm the priest. I'm the pastor. I'm the head. I'm the religious leader. Church and state. You're seeing church and state right here. It also forced all people, great and small, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark in their right hand or on their foreheads. Let me put this mark on your head because it's Ash Wednesday. Church and state. So that they could not buy or sell unless they had the mark, which is the name of the beast or the number of its name. This calls for wisdom. Let the person who has insight calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. The number is 666. Now, here's the thing. Some people are going to tell you that the solution was the mark of the beast, and it's not. The solution is not the mark of the beast. The lollipop's not the mark of the beast. Because these attributes of it ain't there. But what's going to happen is, because I've heard people say this, what's going to happen is, just as people told you, take the lollipop. God understands your heart. God knows you need a job. They're going to do the same thing with the mark of the beast. God not going to send you to hell for taking the mark. Oh, I know this chip is going in your skin, but that ain't the mark. I know this chip allows you to buy, trade, and sell, and if you don't have it, you can't buy, trade, or sell, but they're going to tell you this ain't the mark. And they're going to say, well, God knows you got to feed your family. He knows you need a job. Go ahead and do it. And you're going to be like, oh, yeah, I guess I got to do it because I do have to feed my kids. I need a job. I do need income. God not going to send me to hell. Oh, yeah, just like y'all did with the lollipop. But this time, you're going to go straight to hell. You take the chip, or you take the mark, or you take the tattoo. Oh, yeah. But they're going to tell you that. Did you see how everybody went along over the last 2 years? Church and state were working together. Did y'all see that? McDonald's was giving you free hamburgers if you got a lollipop. Did y'all see that? The churches say you could come here and get your lollipop. Did y'all see that? Did y'all see Israelite Morays say y'all could come here and get your lollipop? Did y'all see that? Camp said y'all could come and get your lollipop. Did y'all see that? These are going to be the same people, church and state, telling you to get the mark. Church and state. See, Babylon always has a religious component. But Babylon is a nation where people live. Babylon always had a religious component, But Babylon is a place where people live. Rome had a religious component, but Rome was a place or a nation where people live. Mystery Babylon is a place where people live. Revelation 19:20, and the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet. Can we say your pastor, your pope, your more, your teacher, your imam, whoever this religious head is gonna be church and state. And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast, and them that worship, because he promoted worship. The false prophet promoted worship. He's your more, your teacher, your pastor, your cult leader. These both were cast alive into a lake of fire burning with brimstone. It's always church and state. See, y'all don't get it. Y'all think that Mystery Babylon is the Vatican. No, it's not. It just so happens, though, that Babylon always has a religious component to it. But Mystery Babylon is obviously a nation. The whole world trades with her and gets rich from her. She deals with all manners of merchandise. Obviously a nation. She enslaved God's people. Obviously a nation. She's the hammer of the earth, be hammering people all upside the head. She's obviously a nation. But there's a religious component. There's always the priestly class. There's always the mages. See, some of y'all just don't get it. Because if I can get you to focus on the Vatican, then you will let the government slide. And if I get my paycheck from the government, then I'm cool. See, because if you focus on the wrong enemy, you ain't going to see it coming. There's always church and state. So there's a systematic effort of deception. What did the false prophet do? He deceived people by the miracles and signs and wonders. There's an organized system of deception. Operation Mockingbird, the role of the CIA, will know our disinformation program is complete when everything the American public believes is false. Let me repeat that. We'll know our disinformation program is complete when everything the American public believes is false. This statement was made by William Casey, the director of the CIA in 1981. A lot of y'all don't understand that there's a complex web of lies. And I told you, it is scary. There's deception on every level. You got deception in the church. You got deception in the Israelite community. You got deception in the secular community. Everywhere you go and look, there is deception. You don't know who's male and female. You don't even know if the person you're talking to is the real person because they got masks that look exactly like that person. You don't know if the video you watching is legit or not because they got what they call deep fakes. You can't tell the difference between whether that was a real video or not. Everything's a lie. And see, I've been warning y'all about this for a long time. And I've been warning y'all about some of y'all mores. I've been warning y'all about some of y'all pastors. I've been warning y'all about some of them camps. I've been warning y'all need to be vigilant. I even told y'all, be careful with tail. Watch what we teach. Validate what we teach. Seek the Most High on it. Do your own research. Been telling y'all that for years. Why you think I get so much heat? Because I keep telling y'all, be careful. We'll know our disinformation program is complete when everything the American public believes is false. Everything. You think he's speaking Hebrew, you speaking Yiddish brew. Everything's a lie. You need to seek the Most High for guidance. Yeshua said, you can't do nothing without me. You think you're going to get out this situation by yourself? No. You think you're going to not be deceived by the devil without Yeshua? Is you crazy? You think you could just trust me? You think you could just trust your pastor? You think you just can trust your moray and think you're not going to be deceived without the Most High? I told y'all, Yeshua is the king. If you don't make Yeshua the king and he's the arbiter of truth, if you don't allow him to filter all these messages, you're going to be deceived, period. You think you could do anything without me? He said, you can't do nothing without me. But when we warn y'all, you don't listen. When we warn y'all, y'all get mad at us. When we call out a liar, y'all say, you hating. When we tell you they're deceiving you with the sealed portion, you say you hating. When we tell you they're deceiving you with the Hebrew, you hating. When we tell you they're deceiving you about the DNA, you hating. Why you think they're doing all these shows and hit pieces on me? Because I'm trying to warn y'all. I'm waking y'all up. Y'all better be careful. You better see what they're doing. They're not telling y'all the truth. You better filter that out through the word. You better seek the Most High on that. I know it looks good and it sounds good, but that ain't true. That ain't true. They took that out of context. Y'all being deceived. See, we are at war on all levels, spiritually and physically, publicly and privately. They are actually trying to get into your head so they can deceive you in your thoughts. See, when I tell y'all that this thing is bad, it is bad, but y'all hating because I'm trying to warn you. And then some of y'all so stupid that instead of seeking the Most High on whether or not your Cobra, is arrogant and he's lying and all of this stuff, y'all don't seek the Most High. Y'all believe these people like Berean TV. Y'all believe these people like the urban apologists and some of these pastors and some of these mores and some of these teachers. Y'all just believe it without seeking the Most High, without doing any research, without vetting. But who was the one that warned you about the lollipop? How many of y'all glad that you didn't take the lollipop? I'm just asking. If you glad you didn't take the lollipop, give me a 1. Now, I'm not hating on y'all who took it. I understand your reasoning and I understand the trauma and the drama y'all went through, but I tried to help you. But I keep trying to help y'all and y'all get mad at me. And I'm trying to help you again. Some of these pastors are liars. Everything they tell you not true. And like I say, validate me. Don't just trust me. Don't just trust me. I could be compromised. You don't know. You need to seek the Most High. But I told y'all, I'm doing my best. I'm being open. I'm being honest. I don't have no agendas. Why? Because I love God. I love my people, and I hate evil, and I hate sin, and I hate lies. That's just the way I am. God made me this way. I want to enter the kingdom. I don't want to be left outside. I don't want to be a castaway. I don't need no followers. God gave me this ministry. When we started this ministry, we wasn't trying to start no ministry. We were just sharing what we learned. We ain't been trying to build nothing. So one particular person said this, and I'm going to show you an example of the sleight of hand. Here's an example of a sleight of hand and how a lot of our people are not sophisticated. And they'd be like, yeah, Pastor, you right, Pastor. I agree with you, Pastor. Tail don't know what they're talking about. You right, Pastor. So this particular person said, the Messiah made it clear that not a single man, not a single angel, and not even he knows the date of the gathering of Israel, who was scattered to the four corners of the earth. Only the Father knows. We are given signs, but not exact dates. Sounds good, right? Sounds good, right? Sounds good. But did you vet it? Did you vet it? I'm going to read it one more time. The Messiah made it clear that not a single man, not a single angel, and not even he knows the date of the gathering of Israel, who was scattered to the four corners of the earth. Only the Father knows. We are given signs, but not exact dates. Is that true? Is that true? Yes or no? Is that statement true? I want to know. What do you think? Is that statement true? While I'm waiting for the answers, I'm going to read it one more time. The Messiah made it clear that not a single man, not a single angel, not even he knows the date of the gathering of Israel, who was scattered to the four corners of the earth. Only the Father knows. We are given signs, but not exact dates. And for those who say it is true, it's not true. See, you didn't validate it, did you? You didn't go take the Bible and go and research and see whether or not those things are so. That is not a true statement. And this is what I mean by sleight of hand. This is what I mean by deception. Because you didn't go and look at your Bible and see if that was true. So what does the Bible say about that? What does it really truly say? Let's see what the Bible says. No one knows the day or hour, but of that day and hour no one knows, not even the angels of heaven, but my Father only. But as the days of Noah were, so also will what? The coming of the Son of Man be. Does it have to do with anything with the gathering of Israel? The gathering of Israel and being scattered, does it have anything to do with that? But of that day and hour, no one knows, not even the angels of heaven, but my Father only. But as the days of Noah were, so also will the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage until the day that Noah entered the ark, and did not know until the flood came and took them all away, so also will the coming of the Son of Man be. Then two men will be in the field, one shall be taken, another left. Two women will be grinding at the mill, one will be taken, another left. Watch therefore, for you do not know what hour the Lord is coming. But know this, that if the master of the house had known what? At what hour the thief would come, he would have watched and not allowed his house to be broken into. Therefore, summary, therefore you also be ready, for the Son of Man is coming at an hour you do not expect. Some of y'all said it was a correct statement. It was wrong. Let me read that statement for you one more time. The Messiah made it clear that not a single man, not a single angel, and not even he knows the date of the gathering of Israel, who was scattered to the four corners of the earth. Only the Father knows. We are given signs, but not exact dates. I didn't show you. Now, let me take that statement. Let me take this poll again. So was that statement correct? Give me a 1 if it was correct. And give me a 2 if it was wrong. I didn't read that to you. And I'm not finished either. Because they're going to say, well, that ain't what I meant. Acts 1:6-7. Then they gathered around him and asked him, Lord, are you at this time going to restore the kingdom to Israel? He said to them, it is not for you to know the times or dates the Father has set by his own authority. So the day and hour had to do with the Lord's return. And now here we see that the times and dates that he talked about, because he mixed them up, has to do with the question about the restoration of Israel. So some of y'all still say number 1 was correct. No, it wasn't. I don't know what Bible y'all reading. See, I told y'all something wrong with some of y'all. No, it was not correct. So here's the thing. The Bible says about the end times and about prophecies, there's certain things we do know. Matthew 24:33. Even so, when you see all these things, what the signs and all the things that was mentioned in Matthew 24, when you see all these signs, you know that it is near, even at the door, right at the door. What's near? What's at the door? The arrival, the coming of the Son of Man, the fulfillment of these prophecies. See, if any of you put a number 1 in there, this is why you're deceived. You can't read, or you're uneducated, or you're just deceived, or you're blindly following a man, because the scripture is clear. See, this is the problem with some of y'all. You can give people straight up scripture and they're going to say, oh, I still think it's right. No, it wasn't. Line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little. That's how we're supposed to be. You can't mix it up. You can't make up your own thing. You can't say, I think. No, it says what it says. This is why some of y'all going to take the mark. This is why some of y'all deceive. You can't think and you can't reason and you have no spiritual discernment. None whatsoever. Oh, I'm going to unsubscribe from Tail. Bye. I'm just saying. Some things are straight up and clear. But there's this connection between the spirit or spiritualism, which we call the church or religion, and government. And so some people are working for the religious system or the religious side of the government, and some people working for the public side of the government or the secular side of the government. But they still the same. See, this is how they had us hooked up. When they gave us those slave Bibles, who you think did it? It wasn't just the church. It was the government along with the church. So everybody you see who say they're Israel and teaching ain't necessarily teaching for Yah. I told y'all, a lot of people got agendas. You need spiritual discernment in these last days. I've been trying to help y'all for a long time, and all I get is grief. I've been trying to warn y'all for a long time, and what I get is grief. Now, I'm not saying, look, I got a lot of supporters out there. I love y'all. I really do. The ones who support me through all this mess, I love y'all. I thank y'all for the support. I thank y'all for the prayers. Oh, yes. Some of y'all be praying for me, and I need it. Oh, I love y'all. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, I do. I love me some of y'all. Some of y'all been praying for me while I've been sick, going through attacks, all this stuff. Oh, yeah, I love y'all. Y'all my people. I'm telling you, I'm with y'all. See, this is why I do what I do for y'all. Look, I would have left long time ago. I would have stopped this a long time ago. I would have said, Lord, I'm done. I'm finished. You got a bunch of stiff-necked people here. But there's some of y'all love y'all some Yakoba. Y'all be praying for me. I'll be like, thank you, Lord. I didn't know I had people that love me like that. Sister Betty, she like, I got Yakoba's back. There's others out there, they be like, I got Yakoba's back. I'm like, oh, yes. I say, see, y'all the ones that keep me going. This is why I do it. This is why I do it. I would have been left a long time ago. I would have stopped a long time ago. I wouldn't be fighting. Oh, no. I would have cut this thing loose a long time ago. I'm telling you, y'all don't understand. Because guess what? I could have just went and made my money and go do my own little thing, enjoy life while Babylon crumbles. Try to go on some vacations and go to some exotic places and go to Africa and do all these things. I could have been spending a lot of time, but I do it because of y'all, the ones that be praying for me, the ones that say, Yakoba, we love you and we praying for you. We got your back. Y'all the reason why I continue. Y'all in the Most High. I'm telling you. Y'all don't know how much y'all support me. Sister Lily be praying for me too. I'm like, y'all that be praying for me. Oh, yeah, I need it. And I'm grateful. I am grateful. Yeah. See, this is why I go through the hell. This is why I go through the hell of telling the truth and dealing with people like Berean and dealing with people like Abu and dealing with people like Blacktastic and dealing with all these other pastors out there. This is why I do it. I'm telling you, I would have cut it loose a long time ago because I don't need this kind of stress. But God made me for such a time as this because, I ain't no punk. I told y'all, I know what I'm getting into. I knew what I was getting into. I know what I got to do. Because there's very few people like me. There's very few people that will contend for the truth regardless of the pressure and the attacks. Very few. Very few. There's very few. You could probably count them on one hand. I ain't compromising on nothing. Zero, zip, nada. I don't compromise. I'm Yeshua 100. I'm Yah 100. This is why I get beat up so much. But there's this religious system called Babylon. But it's also a government. It's a public system. And the woman that rides the beast is the government. She's the political system that controls the political entity. She controls the world governmental beast. The world governmental beast is the conglomerations of nations that we call the United Nations, or we call the world order, or we call the international order. That is what the beast is. And there's a woman that rides that beast and controls it. And she's not religious. She's a political entity because she makes people rich and she enslaves people and she kills people and she torments people. But she has a religious side. But you don't really see that because they tell you that it's separation of church and state. Oh, no. Remember when they told you the separation of church and state? Protestants came into power and all this stuff. Remember all that? But do you not know that according to the laws of these lands, especially in places like New Orleans and other places in Charleston and all these things, the only religion you could convert to was Catholicism. Did you know that? There was no separation of church and state. Still ain't no separation of church and state. Why do you think the leaders of this world always go to Rome and kiss the Pope's hand? Why do you think the Pope be dressed in white and the leaders of the world come to him and bow before him and they dressed in black? I told you deception is real. This is why they don't want you to believe that America's Babylon, because if America is Babylon, then America is going to fall. If America is Babylon, then America is going to be destroyed. If America is Babylon, people are going to be thinking about getting the heck out of here. But they don't want that. Why? Because you give me my tithes and offerings. You can't go to Africa because I need your money. I'm not telling you to do nothing. See, some of y'all hear what you want to hear. I'm just saying, if you believe that this place is about to burn, you be making every plan you can to get the heck out of Dodge. But guess what? That's why they're going to tell you it's not. You got to keep the beast fed. She needs your dollars. You got to keep the churches fed. They need your dollars. Why do you think the pastors ain't telling you Israel? Because if you Israel, your thinking gonna change, and you ain't gonna be all up under pastor like that. If you find out you Israel, you gonna stop giving your tithes and you're gonna stop going to church. If you believe you Israel, a lot of y'all gonna stop listening to all these people who say they rule over you because they got some insight and divine insight that God gave them, and therefore you need to submit yourself to them, and that they're the arbiters of truth, and that they're the Hebrew experts and the Greek experts and the English experts, and so you got to listen to them. See, once you awaken, you don't go back to sleep. You shouldn't, at least. It's hard to go back to sleep. Some of y'all go back to sleep. Some of y'all want to go back into the system that you left with an Israelite veneer. The daughter of Babylon, doomed to destruction. Happy is the one who repays you according to what you have done to us. Happy is the one who seizes your infants and dashes them against the rocks. Now, some of y'all are going to say, well, yeah, see, that's the Vatican. See, that could be the Vatican. You don't know that. You don't know if that's the U.S., Jacob. Oh, I don't know. Well, let's continue. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. See, Jacob, see, that's the Vatican. Don't you see it? That's not America. Come, Zion, escape, you who live in the daughter of Babylon. Is this the Vatican? Come, Zion, escape, you who live in the daughter of Babylon. Is this the Vatican? How is this the Vatican? Come, Zion, escape, you who live. They live there. They live in the daughter of Babylon. How's it the Vatican if you live in there? Babylon is a poetic and metaphorical expression used in certain passages to symbolize the cities or nations. What is Babylon again? Babylon is a poetic and metaphorical expression used in certain passages to symbolize the cities or nations. What? The cities or nations. What? The cities or nations associated with Babylon and its practices. It signifies the influence, character, or offspring of Babylon. This is the daughter of Babylon now. Babylon, rather than literal daughter. So here are a few examples of scriptures that mention the daughters of Babylon. And I just read those. So Psalm 137, 8 through 9. This passage found in Psalm 137 reflects the sorrow and anguish of the Israelites during their exile in Babylon. It uses the term daughter Babylon to refer to the city or Babylon and its people. Now remember, it's cities or nations. Isaiah 47, 1, I read that. This verse from Isaiah uses the term virgin daughter to describe the city and its loss of status and power. It employs imagery to convey the humiliation and downfall of Babylon. Zechariah 2, 7. I read that. Here, the phrase daughter of Babylon is used as a representation of the people dwelling in Babylon, urging them to leave and return to Zion. What? They living in Babylon. What? Urge to what? Leave. How is that the Vatican? As part of the prophetic message of deliverance. These are just a few examples, and there are other references to Babylon and his daughters throughout the Bible, particularly the prophetic books such as Jeremiah, Ezekiel, and Revelation. These passages often employ symbolic language to convey God's judgment, downfall, or deliverance of Babylon and its associated entities. Babylon was a nation. Babylon today is a nation. Therefore, those who living in Babylon, assuming if you believe like I do, that America is, have to flee what? Babylon. You cannot flee the Vatican. Ain't nobody else living in the Vatican but priests. Ain't no slaves still living in the Vatican. But there's a spiritual system of church and state. The woman that's riding the beast is the state. The Vatican, the religious system, is that which is going to cause people to worship the state. Whether that state be emphasized through a personage of a man called the Antichrist, or is the state itself, or this whole AI thing possessed by a demon called Apollyon. But once again, see, there's nothing new under the sun. What we're dealing with here is church and state. And what we're seeing here is those people who are employed by the state who don't want the state to be Babylon because they are getting rich from the system. And some people are not sophisticated enough to see the difference when the Bible's talking about a church or a spiritual system versus the political governmental system. And sometimes they are the same. Think of it this way. You have a body that has a spirit. The body cannot exist without the spirit. You have a body called the state or the government. The government is the body. It cannot exist without the spirit or an evil spirit called the religious system of Babylon. Always has been. Always has been. This is nothing new. This is what happened in the days of old. This is what happens. This is what happened in the days of old. This is the same thing happening again. But because we don't know history, because they modified history, because they manipulated history, because they manipulated the word in some instances in terms of translations and transliteration. I believe the context and the meaning of the scriptures are correct. But they made some passages difficult to understand because they then Greekified it and made things that were specific to the nation of Israel to the charge. See, this is what you're dealing with here. And I told you the deception is at another level. And everyone who says, Lord, Lord, is not going to enter the kingdom, but he who does the will of the Father. Everyone who says, Lord, Lord, is not serving him. Everyone who says they are Israelites are not serving Yahuwah. This is why I said you need spiritual discernment. What we're dealing with is the same thing from generation to generation, from 1,000 to 2,000 to 6,000 years ago. Ain't nothing much changed. There's nothing new under the sun. Ancient pagan religious practices varied across different cultures and regions. So it's important to note that the following information is a general overview and may not apply to all pagan traditions. Paganism encompasses a wide range of religious and spiritual beliefs that predate the rise of organized monotheistic religions such as Christianity and Islam. In ancient times, pagan religious practices were often deeply intertwined with the governing structures. Wait a minute. Really? In ancient times, pagan religious practices were often deeply intertwined with the governing structures of society. It's the same today. It's the same today. America is supposed to be secular. It is not. America is not secular. This is a Christian nation, don't you remember? Even though a lot of these Christians hung people from trees, put them into slavery, gave them a fake book. And now the visible image is now becoming Satanism. Now they're teaching Satanism in schools. Now they're teaching Satanism in schools. Now they're having open Satan conferences. Church and state. In ancient times, pagan religious practices were often deeply intertwined with the governing structures of society. In many cases, the rulers and political leaders held religious authority and played a central role in the religious rituals and ceremonies. This connection between religion and government was rooted in the belief that the ruler derived their power and authority from the gods or other spiritual entities. This is what's going to happen with the Antichrist. This is what's going to happen with the Antichrist. This is what's going to happen with the Antichrist. This connection between religion and government was rooted in the belief that the ruler derived their power and authority from the gods or other spiritual entities. In some pagan cultures, the ruler was believed to be a divine figure. This is why they're going to worship the Antichrist. In some pagan cultures, the ruler was believed to be a divine figure, or at least closely connected to the divine. The ruler's role included performing rituals and acting as an intermediary between the human realm and the spiritual realm. Can we say your pastors and your mores? These rituals were often performed to ensure the well-being of the community, such as ensuring good harvest, fertility, or protection from enemies. Priests and priestesses held significant positions in ancient pagan societies and played crucial roles in religious ceremonies and practices. They were responsible for conducting rituals, making offerings to the gods, and interpreting signs and omens. Their close association with gave them influence and authority within the community. Ancient pagan religious practices were often observed through public ceremonies and festivals that involve the participation of the entire community. Can we say Christmas? These rituals were seen as essential for maintaining the harmony between humans, nature, and the gods. Participation in religious activities was considered a civic duty, and failure to adhere to religious customs could be seen as a threat to the social order. Over time, as societies evolved and centralized power structures emerged, the relationship between pagan religions and governments became more complex. In some cases, political leaders co-opted pagan religious beliefs and rituals to consolidate what? Their power and control over the populace. Pagan temples and sacred sites were sometimes used as symbols of political authority, and rulers would associate themselves with specific gods or goddesses to legitimize their reign. Let me reread this a different way. Over time, as societies evolved and centralized power structures emerged, the relationship between Christianity, the Christian religion, and the United States government became more complex. In some cases, the political leaders co-opted Christian religious beliefs and rituals to consolidate their power and control over the populace. Christian churches and sacred sites were sometimes used as symbols of political authority, and rulers would associate or come and go to their churches and preach or ask them to vote for them. And rulers would associate themselves with specific gods and goddesses to legitimize their reign. So they'll go to church. They say, I'm running for the office of, let's say, for congressman. Y'all know I'm a Christian. Y'all need to vote for me because I have Christian values. So by giving themselves the association to the symbol of Christianity, they legitimize their right to rule. They legitimize their right to be your congressman. They legitimize the right to be your mayor. They legitimize the right to be your president. Ain't nothing changed. Nothing changed. Y'all think things changed. It ain't never changed. It's still the same. Nothing has changed. This is why it's hard to see. The Bible says, if possible, to deceive even the very elect. If possible, to deceive even the very elect. That means it has to be so close to the truth that even the elect could be deceived. That also means that you got infiltrators, you got COINTELPRO members, you got people who love massa, you got people who are being paid to control you. Some of these churches were created to control you, to keep the ninjas in line. Not only to keep the ninjas in line, some of these churches and these places were created to control you. Some of these people in these right-wing Christian churches, and you hear these pastors talk with their racism, and you be like, he don't sound like a Bible believer to me. It was created to control you. It is church and state. Only the Most High can wake you up from this. Some of these Israelite groups were created to control you. That's why some of them still look like churches. That's why some of them are camps. They were created to control you. This is why you see some of these people being Freemasons and former Freemasons. That's why you see some of the camp members having some of the Freemason symbols, because they were created to what? Control you. So long as you have the religious system in place, they're not threatened, because your mind is controlled. What you believe is controlled, and you won't be protesting. You won't be going out doing nothing. You will not oppose the system. You will take your lollipop because the pastor told you to take your lollipop. Why? Because they were put in place to control you. Do you not understand why I am a threat? Do you not understand why I have so many people targeting me today? Do you not understand why I have seen so many Voltron shows about Yakoba, about Tail Ministries? Because they are put in place to control you. Yakoba is here. He's the only threat, or one of the few threats out here to the system. Why? Because he only preaching the truth. He's not in the midst of it. He don't have no followers. You don't even know what he look like. You can't follow no man you don't see. But I'm a cult leader. But you don't know what I look like. I told you the deception is real. This is why they hate me so much. This is why you got Israelites attacking me, Christians attacking me, supposed friends attacking me. Because everybody else sold out to the system. Why? Because it's religious and state. It is government and state. They work hand in hand. I'm a threat. Because I fear God more than them. I pray that the Most High keeps me. I pray that he keeps me. But I'm a threat. I don't sugarcoat nothing. What I see, I present. What I believe, I give to you. Free of charge. I'm a threat. No matter how much they attack me, I still come back. I'm a threat. But here's the thing. It's like the Most High said. All he do for the Father. That's why I do it. I do it for the Father. And because I love the Father, and because I love Yeshua, I ain't scared. And I got to do it. Here's the thing. The fearful and unbelieving shall have their part in the lake of fire. I can't afford to be scared. The cowards are going to have their part in the lake of fire. I can't afford to be scared. I can't modify what I teach and preach, because then I'm more scared of them than I'm scared of Yah. Oh, no. I'm scared of Yah. I fear Father Yah. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, I fear him. Yeah, I told y'all I fear him. I know who he is. He's a great father, a loving father, but he don't play. He don't play. I keep telling y'all that. If you know the word, you're going to do what he tell you to do without hitting agendas. Because some of y'all done had your reward already. Some of y'all got your reward already, because you got the accolades of man. You got the money for your churches. You driving your nice cars. You going on your nice vacations. You got your nice suits, your nice shoes. Some of y'all got your reward already. Mine coming in the kingdom. I'll take some if God give it to me. If Father Yah give them to me now, I'll take some. He say, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things be added unto you. I'm cool with that. I'll wait on him. Acts 17:11. Now the Berean Jews were of more noble character than those in Thessalonica, for they received the message with great eagerness and examined the scriptures every day to see if what Paul said was true. Some of y'all just don't do it. And no matter how much we tell y'all to do it, you don't do it. You don't be like the Bereans. You don't do it. Pastor tell you it's Shalom, you like it's Shalom. Pastor tell you it's Yawahashi, you say it's Yawahashi. Pastor tell you that the Vatican Babylon, you don't do your own research and you don't seek Yah. Some of y'all like the ones in Thessalonica. Y'all not like the Bereans. Here's the thing. No matter what anybody says, the times we're living in are dire. We are at the precipice of World War III. Ain't none of these ministries talking about that. Are they talking about that? They're not talking about that. They're not talking about the fact that millions and millions of people could disappear overnight because of what's happening over there in Ukraine, and it's going to spill over here. They're not telling you about that. You know what they're telling you? They're telling you that Tail Ministry is a cult. They're telling you that Babylon is the Vatican. They want you to be content in the Babylonian system. They want you to make sure that you go get your 401ks, go get your job, and keep living like you've been living, and get your new home and your house when you ain't going to be able to afford it. They ain't telling you about the coming 15-minute cities where you're going to be a slave. No, they're not telling you that. They're not telling you about the fact that we're going into a new digital currency. They're not telling you about that. And when that new digital currency comes into being, you could forget me talking. You could forget Dante talking. You could forget anybody else who telling truth talking. You could forget it, because guess what? They're going to shut us down. They're going to turn off our app. You could forget it. But all things remain the same since the fathers fell asleep. That's what y'all believe. Y'all believe y'all could just go buy your new car, go buy your new home, go get your new award, go get your new degree, go get your master's, go get your PhD, because all things remain the same. No, it's not. All those things going to disappear. You ain't going to need a master's in the future. You ain't going to need a PhD in the future. You ain't going to need none of it. Why? Because Elon Musk then told you when they asked him, hey, Elon, will there be any jobs for my children since AI is taking over? What jobs, what field of study should we be in? Huh, Elon? What job? What type of profession should my kids be in, Elon? Elon, like, wait a minute. Let me figure this out. Would there be anything my people can do? You ain't gonna have no job. PhD ain't gonna do you nothing. Masters ain't gonna do you nothing. You ain't gonna even be able to go and work in the fields. Why? Because AI gonna pick up the cotton as well. AI gonna build the houses as well. AI gonna write the programs as well. AI gonna do the cooking as well. AI gonna be the police as well. Well, what are we gonna do, Yacoba? I don't expect you to do nothing, Mr. Bond, but to die or to submit. Or to submit. Because what's coming with it is the social credit system. What's coming with it is the social credit system. But don't worry, because pastors say that, America's not Babylon, so we ain't going to have to deal with that. You know, Yacoba's wrong. He don't know what he's talking about. We ain't going to have, they're lying. Tail Ministry's lying. You ain't got to listen to them, because they ain't none of that going to come here. We're going to still have our churches. Oh, yeah, you still going to have your churches. They're going to be government approved. And if that church get out of line, they're going to shut off his app. They're going to shut off his money. If pastor say the wrong thing, guess what? You ain't getting your universal basic income. Oh, you know what? Pastor said the wrong thing. You know what? Good luck getting that steak. We were going to let you have a steak for this month. But now all you get to have for this month is bologna. Y'all think I'm exaggerating. Y'all keep playing games if you want to. I've been warning you what's coming, and I told you your blood ain't on my hand, because I ain't hiding nothing. I've been honest with everything. I didn't told you the truth. I didn't pointed out the deceivers. I didn't pointed out the liars. But some of y'all hating because I'm telling you he a snake. And there's things I know that I don't even talk about, that if I told y'all, y'all be thinking I'm lying. I've told some people. They know what I'm talking about. But guess what? The reason why I told them, because they came to me and said, hey, Yacoba, hey, tell you, What do y'all think of so-and-so? I'm feeling some kind of way about so-and-so. I say, well, here's what I see. Seek the Most High on it, but here's what I see. See, some people got discernment. I've had several people come to me and say, hey, what about so-and-so? I'm feeling some kind of way about him. Oh, yeah, they got people out here with discernment. They see it. Some of y'all see it. Some of y'all know that some of these people ain't what they appear to be. Because here's the thing. If you're doing the Most High's will and you're doing the work for the Most High, you ain't got time to be tearing down somebody over the fact that they believe that America's Babylon. The only reason you're going to do that is because they are a threat to you and your system and your pocket and your relationship with the government. Like I said, I've been trying to warn y'all for a while. And look, here's the thing. A lot of people say ain't nothing going to happen. A lot of people say you're Cobra and tail blowing smoke. But like I say, so far my track record been pretty good. I'll take my track record over them any day. Because everybody has an opinion, like everybody has a you know what. Everybody has an opinion, like everybody has a you know what, but they can't prove nothing. See, when I talk about things and I talk about Jerusalem being in Ethiopia, I didn't do my research. How many videos I got? But they say, I don't believe that, Jacob. I'm like, okay, well, where's your 20-something plus videos to prove your case? Oh, I believe this, Jacob. That's fine. You can believe what you want. But don't hate me because I disagree with you. I told y'all, you dealing with snakes in the garden. You're dealing with snakes in the garden, and a lot of people like the snake. They want to party with the snake. And the ones of us who say we're not partying with the snake, we ain't going to have nothing to do with the snake, we look like troublemakers. Well, you're causing division. You're disrupting the community. We need to unify. We shouldn't be hating. We shouldn't be fighting. But some of y'all want to eat with the snake. I'm not eating with you. Some of y'all like to eat the lies. I'm not eating the lies with you. As you know, I've done my research. I do my research. And anything you tell me, I'm going to do my research. You know how much I do my research? Let me give you this example, and I'm going to call it quits. I asked ChatGPT one time. I said, ChatGPT. I said, in the book of Josephus, I think it was Josephus or something. I said, I need to find such and such and such and such. And ChatGPT said, yes, that's in the book of Josephus, book 1, chapter blah, 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 line, blah, blah, blah. Now, anybody else will say, okay, ChatGPT must know. I'm going to take that and run with it. I say, nah, bro, let me go check this out. So I go find the book. I open up the book. I go to the page, the chapter in the page. And ain't nothing that ChatGPT told me was there. So I go back to ChatGPT. I say, Ninja, look, you didn't lie to me, Ninja. I say, why are you lying to me? ChatGPT said, oh, I apologize. I make mistakes because my model wasn't updated. So therefore I make mistakes. I'm like, you make mistakes, but you added something that don't exist. You added something that literally does not exist on that page. Did you not read it? See, ChatGPT will make stuff up. But see, I don't trust nobody. The only one I trust is the Most High, period. That's just my nature. I don't trust nobody. I only trust the Most High. That's how I am. Everybody got an agenda, almost everybody. I don't have one. I got a God agenda. I got a Yah agenda. But almost everybody got an agenda, and it's not a Yah agenda. Peace and blessings, Israel. Your captivity is ending. Love you with the love of the Messiah. If you like what we do, please support this ministry by becoming a patron. And we got Cash App. And also what you can do is you can subscribe to this channel, and you can give us likes, and you can share this video if you like. And also, please support the Dry Bones Project.